You're gonna be in your bed doing whatever your work, and then all of a sudden you're gonna see like this chick with the black hair and going
Yeah. Well,
jumping from closet to closet.
that's exactly what happened with my client. Hello, everybody. My name's Chastity, aka the Luminary Luna Beams,
And I'm Emily, the fine art medium.
and we're two mediums that specialize in the paranormal. Our purpose is to shed light on what goes bump in the night. That's why we call this podcast YouTube channel
Lights of midnight.
Lamp. So, guys, this is the week of Halloween. And of course, we love Halloween. So, we have something a little bit different for you guys today. Something kind of we decided last minute to do in a way surrounding haunted objects. So, I've noticed a lot of people are actually talking about haunted objects lately, which is very interesting because, well, I guess I'll get to that in a bit. But we're going to talk about dolls and how you can find them online, supposedly haunted dolls, and maybe read through some of the descriptions. And of course, we're going to block out the seller names. We're not going to be posting any of that, but see if we pick up anything and give you guys our opinions about the dolls and owning haunted objects and just kind of free flow with the information today.
We gonna ride that wave today.
Yes. So we'll see where this takes us. But we have a total of 3 dolls that we are going to show you and kind of read the description to get their backstory. If we feel anything, we'll let you know. And we also have, so I guess you could say, public service announcements to make
Mm-hmm.
about haunted objects. So yeah, I think we're just going to jump right in. I don't really have anything else to add.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So for our first haunted object, this one actually come from Etsy, and her name is Kinsey. Yeah. So Kinsey looks cute. She's a little dirty. Okay. Okay. And Kinsey is available for $65.52. She can be all yours on Etsy. The seller has a 5-star review, which is awesome. 163 ratings. That's really, really cool. So evidently, I mean, there's a very big, it's in high demand for haunted objects. But Emily, would you like to go ahead and start us off with a little bit of the description of Kinsey?
Sure. So Kinsey, she is 17 years old. So meet Kinsey. She sometimes is a bit moody, but is still a positive spirit. She would never hurt anyone. She just has a slight temper. She needs an experienced keeper who can keep her and her temper down. She passed in a car crash a few years ago. She wasn't driving, her boyfriend was. He survived, but she didn't. She isn't angry over what happened. She does, however, miss her family and her boyfriend, but being around them and not being able to communicate with them is heartbreaking for her. Her dog noticed her presence, which was scaring her little sister. That was the last straw for her, and now she's here. She wants a keeper who will pay attention to her and not just keep her on a shelf. She wants to be talked to and treated like a member of the family. Per TOS, I am selling a tangible doll, not a haunting. I cannot guarantee that you will feel or experience the same things I have once you receive this item.
Interesting. So, something to say about this particular listing. At least they say, you need somebody experienced, because that's one of the things that we always suggest. I've never bought a haunted object to just have because it was haunted. I like to keep those things away from my house. I do have a haunted object based on just by accident. I actually bought a mirror because I thought it was vintage and cool. And I was like, oh, it'd be great in my bedroom. And I got it from like a yard sale or a garage sale, right? And I bring it home and things start happening. We notice some activity. The mirror actually like fell over one day after sitting up on a shelf for 1 year. I mean, I thought it was about to shatter. It fell from like 3 or 4 feet onto carpet. And I mean, it's big. It's like 4 foot tall. It did not shatter. But anyways, I figured out it had some nasty negative energy because, I mean, just talking with my guides and just after the haunting and everything, something happened. So we've covered it, I've kept it, but, and we respect the fact that some people want haunted objects, but I find it interesting that she at least brought that up, that somebody that, is experienced that needs to own the doll. I have some more things I'm going to add, but I just got to ask you, Emily, do you feel anything specific from this doll?
I would say residual energy. I would say it doesn't it's hard to say because it's like in and out that I'm feeling it. And just because the person passed away and that was like a doll that they had doesn't necessarily mean it's haunted. Now, I do think there's stuff going around with it because my head does hurt. And usually when things are haunted like that or have something tied to it, I get a headache. And right off the bat, I got a headache from it. But I don't know. And the fact that it says it's a positive haunting, I don't know. I don't like when people say it's a like when things have a positive like haunting or attachment to it. Because to me, there's no such thing because it has to feed off of energy. And if it doesn't feed off of energy, then the real question is it haunted or is there just residual energy? But honestly, I'm not getting too much with this doll.
I'm not either at all. Personally, I took the story as this is what this person has experienced with this doll. And it makes you think, how is the seller getting this information? What I'm visually seeing is this person doing spirit communication with some method or another. And this is the story that this person has put together, unless it's completely fictional. Do I believe that there is a 17-year-old named Kinsey that is haunting this doll? 100% no.
Agreed.
I do not. Generally, when most people transition and go to the light, and you have to think about it from this perspective too. We hadn't even gotten to the grit. We're not going to go extremely deep today into haunted objects, but just think about this. Why would you want to keep a 17-year-old girl that tragically passed away in a car accident and her spirit attached to this doll? Why would you want to keep that in your home?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. Why would could her residual energy be here? Yes, but in my opinion, I think the headache and stuff you're getting may be the energy of the person that actually deals with the dolls and what may be around, because basically, you can get this information, but spirits, especially spirits that are lower vibrational, they don't even have to be human, nor do they have to be super strength. Just because a spirit is non-human doesn't mean that it's has super powers and all that kind of stuff. They can just be gruddy, lower vibrational spirits that are looking for a place, for a home. And a doll represents a person and it's not like it's living in the doll, it's attached to the doll. But if this person is telling the truth, it's a little bit temperamental, it's wanting more. I'm getting more from whatever energy could be attached to the doll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I for sure don't think there's any kind of earthy or anything attached to it. If anything, the most I feel is like the residual. And I feel like the emotions surrounding the doll. So whether it's the person who owned it or the person who has it now, I just feel like it's just residual energy and that thick stuff that kind of hangs on to it, if anything.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm not really getting any super hits because honestly, after doing this for so long, if there was something dark attached to it, the way my gifts work, I would see it immediately. Because spirit, this is just part of my process. I want to know what's the darkest and what's in charge. There's
Hmm.
nothing like that, in my opinion, either
Yeah. And
attached to the doll.
the whole idea of like a 17-year-old tragically passing away in a car accident. First of all, instead of having it attached to a haunted doll, wouldn't you want to cross her over so she's not
Hmm.
stuck here instead of, have her attached to a haunted doll? That's just my thing. I don't like that idea of someone keeping a spirit that should be crossing over because at that point, if you have somebody like that, chances are, if they're not crossed over, it's not because they're malevolent or nasty people. If it was indeed a 17-year-old child, because to me, 17-year-old, they're under the age, that's a
Yeah.
child, and that kind of thing, they wouldn't want to stick around unless it's for like family reasons or something more on the scale of love and missing their family, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
than being nasty. And so that means that that spirit has the capability of crossing over, and I would rather have them cross over than have them attached to a doll.
Yeah. Absolutely. I feel exactly the same way. And I mean, it says her dog noticed her presence, which was scaring little sister. So, but I'm not getting the feeling that this doll was associated with this 17-year-old. I feel like it's information pulled in from spirit communication, whether that's a spirit board or a cell phone app or, SB7. Like, I feel like this person pulled this information in that way but I will say this seller is giving me vibes that they actually do try to follow through with the stories. I don't think it's completely like fictionally made up, like, haha, I do not get that from the seller particularly.
Hmm.
But there is something about the doll, but I don't think anything's fully attached to it. I think more or less if somebody was to buy this doll, you're setting in the intentions
Yep.
to bring something closer into your home. And that goes with anything too. Like unless you're ready to accept that responsibility, personally, I don't want that kind of energy in my home. But, a good friend of ours, Duran, Dead Serious Investigations, he does it for educational purposes and he knows how to contain these spirits. So we're not knocking people that do. We're just saying, for the average person thinking it's cool to maybe want to do this, think about it before you do it, because you could be bringing in a lot of things if you're not experienced to know how to handle it.
I also feel like that experience that they wrote down below, I don't feel like it's associated with the doll in general. I feel like because they're doing a lot of stuff in terms of haunted objects, they're already bringing stuff in. So it's like, yeah, you can do a spirit box communication and do it around the doll and get stuff coming through, but when you use a spirit box, you're attracting anything and everything around that vicinity, whether it is attached to the doll or just in the general area or vicinity.
Absolutely. So if a person is doing this and they're selling these objects, like Emily's saying, it literally can create what I'm seeing is like a portal of energy where things just come in and out. But if a person was to do this correctly, you have to ask how they get the objects. Do they go to the store? Do they have them turned in? A lot of people some people have a lot of objects for sale. So they have to be figuring it out somehow. But yeah, I personally, energetically, not to pry in the person's life, but just for the business aspect of it, I do feel like they actually really do pride themselves in what they do, and that's okay. It's not for everybody, though. It's personally not for me. Um, but yeah, I really can't add too much more to this particular. And each seller is different. But we're gonna again block out all that information. We're not here to knock anybody, but ultimately for this specific object, I think if you were to take it and bring it home, if you start to develop a connection with it, you will have things happen. You may start to have I heard nightmares, stuff of the such, like especially with the point of if she's used the spirit box to communicate with an entity that's decided to connect with that doll, and it doesn't get the attention or the energy it wants to feed from, it will start pushing back. That is that temper that this person's talking about.
Yep.
So that's kind of all I've really got for this specific item.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything else other than like flashes of her bedroom and like some paranormal activity stuff that they're getting, but because they're in this business, they're attracting a lot of stuff already. So, I mean,
Mhm.
it's not particularly have to do with the doll itself, but the fact that they're in this business.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Next object. All right. So we have this is a haunted doll, genuine Ava, paranormal, positive. Oh, this one's Mandy.
Mandy. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this one's a little long, so bear with us. Again, we're going to put the words on the screen for you guys. So for over 2 decades, I've gathered an array of unique items from my journeys, including treasures from Cassadaga, renowned as the spiritual hub of the world. And I'm pretty sure they're talking about Cassadaga. Is it New York?
There's
There's
one.
Cassadaga, Florida, and I think Cassadaga, New
Yeah.
York. They're probably talking about the New York one because Florida's like the second one. Okay. Um, but I'm a spiritual hub of the world. I am now offering my personal collection for sale. These entities are genuine and should be approached with seriousness. They are certainly not playthings and are not suitable for children. Introducing Mandy. Among my collection are spirits categorized as sensual due to their youthful energy and intense passion, surpassing anything you can imagine. I am ready to release them so they can fulfill their desires, find new homes, or pursue their dreams, despite my deep connection with their extraordinary personalities and abilities. Mandy was a vivacious 25-year-old when a tragic car accident claimed her life. Well, here we got another car accident. She was strikingly beautiful and embraced life fully. Mandy garnered admiration for both men and women due to her innocent appearance, yet she was anything but innocent. Employed at a strip club in a neighboring town, Mandy was a renowned upscale performer. Far from being a common dancer, she maintained high standards, possessed innate elegance, and had a charm that left her with bountiful tips each night. She dated occasionally, but her primary focus was saving for college, aiming to become a veterinarian out of her deep love for animals. Mandy lived in a tastefully decorated private residence, keeping her personal life discreet. Her spirit now resides in a stunning dog, chosen for its beauty. To add to her charm, I occasionally adorn her neck with delicate scarves. Beyond this, the doll is in perfect condition. Mandy's spirit is assertive, seeking an owner who appreciates her dynamic nature. She promises unique performances, tapping into her past as a dancer and offering the thrill of time travel to visit places significant to her. Be warned, Mandy can be quite intense, even causing discomfort at times, but she views these as tender gestures of affection. She yearns for close interaction, desiring to hear about your day and to follow you discreetly, making her presence known through subtle, extraordinary occurrences like lingering scents. Mandy is sociable, enjoying the company of your friends, and prefers kindness and affection. She has a penchant for sunflowers and wildflowers. She appreciates being pampered, including maintaining her vessel's appearance. All right, last one. Despite her pretty vessel, Mandy shows signs of wear and her hair is vibrant. Mandy enjoys moving barefoot and often manifests as shadows or orbs, engaging in conversations about any topic. She moves around at night but respects boundaries, often signaling her presence through unexpected sounds or visual phenomenon. Mandy is playful, flirtatious, and seeks to make her companion feel desired. After over a decade with me, it's time for her to find a new home. If you're the right person, you'll feel a profound connection upon looking into her eyes. Okay, I'm going to be as respectful as possible, but I'm about to lose it
Me too.
on this one. Sounds like you're bringing home a succubus. First,
First of all, okay. I feel like I'm about to have a fucking stroke. Like my brain feels like it's about to have an aneurysm because that's how bad it hurts. Like the first doll we had, nothing. This one, bam.
Yeah.
And it's not human, by the way. The thing
No.
the thing attached to this doll is not human. And like in a horror movie, I was seeing like and yeah. And you know what's really interesting? There's actually a world famous doll named Mandy that is very nasty. And I'm
Mhm.
wondering if that has anything to do with the name of this doll, if they maybe, kind of named it to make it kind of scary like that one, or if that's what they picked up when coming up with the story.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time even believing the story.
I don't believe the story.
I really am. I mean, but as much time like that's put into it, and like
Mhm.
the person has, 600 sales. I mean, they've been doing this for a while. So how big is that collection? How long have you? I'm not saying that, it's not possible. Um, but if the information this person has said is true, and the way Emily has felt about it, the image I'm getting is kind of like giving me succubus vibes, like as I read it, because if you think about the story too, reading the description and everything, something's really off. I personally, looking at the doll, I do get a little pit feeling in my stomach, like in my solar plexus area. But is it something that I would be like, oh no, it's like a Annabelle? No, I don't get that feeling like Annabelle or like my client's doll, Angela, that Duran actually owns now. Which would be a good time to say that I am finally, after 3 years, releasing my haunted object series on the Luminary Luna Beams channel. Shameless plug. So it's going to be a 6-part series ending with a live. Um, I'll be investigating my haunted object. I'll be talking to Duran in an interview we recorded towards the beginning of the year, telling my Annabelle story. And I'll be releasing my very first client case out of the vault that I have been given permission to release. It is the worst case I probably ever have. So I've got to be very careful with the way that I release it. And there's some other goodies coming. But, anyways, I just plugging that in there. That'll be coming out between like now and the end of the year, over a 6-week period on my Luminary Luna Beams channel. It's kind of like a thank you for 1,000 subscribers over there. So I haven't posted there in a while since I'm doing our Appalachian Nightmare and getting that off the ground. And now we're in the groove with that, getting back into luminaries. Anyways, back to why we're here.
hmm Yeah, I'm getting like really prickly, uncomfortable feelings on the back of my neck too.
Hmm. Interesting.
I don't like it. I
Well,
don't
one
like it.
one thing about haunted objects is that I've learned, and I will say this, they are connected. The energy for like not every haunted object, but the inhuman energies for haunted objects, all I'll say right now at least is that there is a connection between these spirits. Some of them don't like each other, but they all come from a similar type place, a certain type. It's almost like a species for some of these haunted objects. I know that sounds weird, but it's just something I felt. But this particular object, this seems like it's not a part of that kind of really darker, malevolent, shape shifting, like demonic. It doesn't give me that, but there's something going on with it.
Yeah, I mean, compared to some of the other haunted objects that we've come in contact with, on the scale of severity, yeah, I feel like you can get illnesses and stuff from it, but it's not, like you said, it's not on the level of Annabelle or Angela or
Mhm.
anything like that. I do think that if somebody has this object, they could have nightmares, some paranormal activity, a lot of fatigue, because I feel like this thing likes to drain energy and talking to it because it kind of in the description is like if you talk to it and it likes that social aspect, that's because when you do that, you're creating a tether via spirit communication through talking to it. And so you're creating
Yeah.
that tether that allows it to take your energy and feed off of you.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it's like, I wonder if it's like a thought for me type thing.
I was
That has,
leaning towards that with sexual undertones.
yeah. So, I mean, the first words that come out of my mouth, like I wasn't being completely serious about the succubus,
Hmm.
but the vibes that it gives has that quality. So, I'm wondering if if this story's true. Personally, I think I'm 50-50 on this with how I feel. Like, honestly, I still can't say it's complete crap, but I'm going to say this person seemed pretty legit, but it's hard. If there is anything attached to the doll, I do think it's kind of thought for me.
Yeah, I think there's some embellishments in their story for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but just based off how I feel like
Yeah.
there is something negative attached to it. I don't think it's positive in any way.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you have somebody that's very energetically sensitive, they might get a lot of headaches and
Yeah.
some weird ass dreams and maybe like some minor paranormal activity. But if anything, I feel like it'll affect more of the health aspect than anything. And it's definitely more haunted than the first doll we talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. There's more going on. And I think one of the reasons I may feel 50-50 is because I feel like the story is like the embellishment. Like, that's a good word. The
Yeah.
embellishment, because I get that pit in my stomach and then my body does hurt a little bit, but there's something telling me something's not right about the
Mhm.
person that wrote this. So that might be
I
why I'm getting that
I
50-50.
was thinking like if okay, what you're saying about the person being, a little
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got the sensation that I wouldn't be surprised if some tomfoolery was done around the doll to make it feel a certain way or make it be a certain way, whether it
Yeah.
was intentional or subconsciously. That's what I feel. And I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying, like, based on the intentions of what they expect or wanted from the doll, I feel like that has more to do with it.
Yeah. Something's off
Hmm.
because my BS meter, and it's not like, again, I'm not saying everything's completely fake. Something's
Yeah.
going on, but it's the person may be a little,
Beep, boop, boop, ba, ba.
yeah. And
Yeah.
we don't know who these people are.
Hmm.
This is just for entertainment purposes only. We're not accusing, what's the word? We're not
Tomfoolery?
tomfoolery, no. Allegedly.
Oh.
This is all alleged. But yeah, so I don't really have anything else about that particular item. It's an interesting item for sure.
Hmm. Now,
Oh,
we can move to the next one.
all right. So the next doll, this doll that you're seeing is definitely says haunted doll. Very negative. Beware pain, sickness, bruisings, and etc. I do not have the name on this doll. If I find the name for the doll, I may accidentally left it out. Whoopsie. I will insert it or have Emily insert it here. But yeah, so I think Emily's going to take care of this description for us.
All right. So, haunted doll, very negative. Beware, pain, sickness, bruises, etc. Doll was created in the 1930s. She is a composite doll with sleep eyes that open and close. Doll is negative. Spirit with doll has made multiple devices go off. This doll does have some real human hair. We believe this is a negative child spirit. We are not able to give her the help she needs. Doll has number 18 on her neck. Former owner claimed doll was hand painted and made by a local creator and not in a factory. I have found very little on this doll's creator. Multiple reports of chest pain when around this doll. Red marks, bruising, pain not long after touching her in locations she was touched. Some people say trouble breathing around her. Things move around her. Devices go off. Electronics turning on and off. Reports of feeling sick when opening her box and removing her. She is moved to my shop since I couldn't have guests because of the feelings. This was all before telling anyone about the doll since being moved out to my shop. My guests no longer experience these issues. Former owners also claimed the same experiences when I reached out to them. She was not sold to me as a haunted doll. Former owners say they feel bad that I have since been stuck with the problems of the doll now, but they needed her out. Former owners claim they could no longer deal with the issues of the doll and locked her in a box with a cross in their attic, but have gotten too old and worried about the consequences of locking her away. I hold no liability for what this doll may or may not do after selling. The shipping box will be on the bulkier, heavy side because the wooden box she comes with. I'm sorry, but when I see this doll, I can't help but bust out laughing. I wanted to laugh through the entire description. And maybe I'm just messed up in the head. I don't know. But for whatever reason, it was so hard not to laugh.
Yeah. I don't know. Something.
Oh, it feels like my neck was broken.
Yeah, something seems more believable to me about this than the last couple. But
Yeah.
I'm not really picking up anything. I'm not. I mean, if I can't sit here and fabricate or make anything up, like psychically, totally zip squat. I mean, that just could be me, but I mean, looking at the doll, I mean, she's got new clothes on. You know, that's not from the 1930s. I'm not gonna, you know, what's the word? Devalue their experience if they really did have this experience. The box looks rather new. It doesn't look old, you know, to be from the time. I mean, it looks like a cool doll. I would actually, I mean, I kind of want to buy the doll.
I was thinking that too. Like, I really want to buy it.
Maybe that's why it's calling to us. Maybe it
Yeah.
is haunted. Maybe it's one of them tricky ones.
I think it is
But
haunted by the fact that I want to buy it so much.
yeah, but if first, like, you're laughing at it and I'm not
Yeah.
getting diddly squat because again, I'm not going to sit here and make stuff up, you know, about what I feel, but listening to you read it, I do believe maybe somebody did have a bad experience with this doll, but I'm wondering if that bad experience was the person and not the doll itself, and it got blamed on the doll.
I feel like this doll got a lot of play time. Like, the past owners, especially if it was with a child, I feel like it's got a lot of wear and tear in terms of like the kids or kid having fun with it. And I feel like there's just a lot of playtime and messing around with it because it's a doll. But I do
Yeah.
feel like the neck was like, I feel like someone suffered a broken neck. So I don't know.
Right. Or like a little girl picking it up and dragging it around by its neck, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can actually feel that now that you say that. But as far as it being, so I'm looking. The reason I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking at the doll, guys. Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude or YouTube rude, but yeah, I'm not really getting anything. It could be me, like, but right now I'm getting like the head part. But
I have
I'm wondering
that.
if, like, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that might be coming from another object we've talked about tonight, though.
I think it was the second one that it's from, but yeah, this one, I feel like it is haunted in a way, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's as negative as the second one.
Yeah.
But who knows? It could be a trickster and it could be laying low.
Hmm.
But
And things can do that.
yep, and I do want to buy it, but I'm not because I'm broke. And not to mention, I don't want haunted things in my house because I
Well,
live
Duran,
here.
if I buy it, well, I can't buy it because I'm broke too. Well, I'm not
Yeah.
broke, but we can't spend that kind of money on a doll. But if we do get it somehow, like maybe I win a scratch off or something,
Yeah.
Duran, it's coming to you, buddy.
Hmm.
Um, Me and V were actually talking about that. Like, we have actually had a conversation about buying a haunted object to investigate, not in our home. And then once we're done with it, we're talking, well, we could probably send it to Duran if he wanted it. Because we don't, the mirror is hard to get rid of though, because it's a mirror. And I know that I can keep that mirror contained, that I have successfully kept it contained. But it's time to do another cleansing on it and all that, but I'm not cleansing it yet. I'm actually considering opening it up,
Well, you're
but
gonna investigate it anyway.
yeah, I'm gonna probably open it up. I wasn't going to do the whole like opening it up with my energy, but I'm considering it just for the investigative purposes, because where I've already been able to contain the energy and stuff, and I'm familiar with what it does. Once you figure out what it does and where it is, it can't really. There's only so much it can do depending on what's associated with it. But I'm super excited about that.
You're gonna
This.
have, you're gonna be in your bed doing whatever your work, and then all of a sudden you're gonna see like this chick with the black hair and going
Yeah. Well,
jumping from closet to closet.
that's exactly what happened with my client. Yeah, so I was visiting, and I have told that story about the client, a little brief part of it on this podcast. I think I told it though. Well, Mike, when we were videoing, when we started, because we guys, if you don't know and you're newer to our channel, our whole first season is not videoed like this. It is actual legit podcasts. Some are an hour long, most of them are 2 or 3 hours long, where we teach about paranormal stuff. And psychic abilities, and just share our experiences and how like we got to where we are today. So it's worth a listen. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts, or you can listen here on YouTube. So I mean, it's just, if you're interested, definitely check it out. It is our younger days, I guess you could say. It's only been a few 2 or 3 years now. I think we're coming up on our 2 year anniversary actually on Halloween. So Lights at Midnight will become 2 years old on Halloween 2024, because that's when we launched our very first podcast. So yay, happy birthday.
Yay. I feel like it's 3 years old. I don't know why I feel like that.
Yeah, it feels longer. It
Hmm.
really does. But Lights at Midnight is too. We put a lot into this, but haunted objects ultimately, we give a warning. Do we feel that there's a positive haunted object? That was kind of the thing here, and I'll just lead in by saying we've talked about this, and for the most part, we're not going to say it's not possible. Okay, we do realize that there are all kinds of spirits, but the likelihood of you getting a positive haunted object for me is very slim. They all still, like, it's still a spirit, and spirits have assignments, they have purpose. And if a spirit's actually going to attach to an object, and if it is human, then yeah, it's definitely needs to cross, because if not, it's just going to suck energy from you and your surroundings. And if that's something you want to do, by all means, you have free will, do it. Spirits have free will too, so, but they have spiritual laws to
Hmm.
follow. And when we allow them into our life, we entertain that spirit, and you can get yourself into a world of mess. Does that always happen? No, it doesn't. Some people enjoy that. Certain content creators, and we're not knocking them. We're just not that type of content creator. We don't, it's not a good idea. Eventually, I probably will get rid of my haunted mirror unless, I investigate it, nothing comes up. We think the spirit may have moved on, but if I bring it forward, it may come back. So we're taking that risk, but I'm taking precautions too.
Or when I hit the lottery and I buy my own haunted location, we can bring it there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That is the goal.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we did a whole actually episode 4 and 5, I believe, or yeah, it's episode 4 and 5. That's all of our first in season 1. That's all haunted objects. So some really interesting things where we interviewed Duran. Season 1, you can go check it out. Again, my haunted object series. I don't have a release date yet, but it is going to be November, December, and it's going to be full 6 weeks. Emily's got a little stuff coming up during that time too with haunted objects. But yeah, I'm sure you might have some things you want to add maybe before we ended about any haunted positive dolls or anything, any cautionary tales.
Yeah, if you're energy sensitive and you're new to the paranormal or have no experience, I highly do not recommend getting any haunted objects on purpose. And if you have one, just by chance, maybe don't communicate with it and don't create a communication link for it because when you do that you allow it and it feeds off your energy and maybe get rid of it if possible. I mean, I personally wouldn't want to hang on to it, especially if it's in my house.
Yeah,
Because
or causing
cause
problems.
it's gonna cause problems 99.9% of the time, whether it's health related or bad luck related or anything just negative, because remember, it needs that negative energy to feed off of. And like you said, it might work for some people, but for the majority, that is not the case.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah, and
recommend it.
we teach like rule of thumb. So the stances that we take, because I'm sure somebody's going to have something to say, and that's fine. That may be what works for you. Like our friend Duran, he's able to do this, and he, is very responsible, very educated on the subject, and much more. But just as the average person getting into this, it's not advised unless you're very prepared and willing to take care of those objects. A lot of times they do require their own space. And there are requirements, to do it. So ultimately the decision is yours. And if you do decide to get haunted objects, then that's super awesome. We support you either way. But if you do, just be mindful, be very mindful and be vigilant. Like Emily was saying, you can have problems. Mine was emotional outbursts and anger with my mirror. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up. We hope you guys enjoyed the video, something a little bit different. We're going to keep doing videos like these occasionally and then our learning videos, but we will keep the reactions in because we know that you guys enjoy those. But yeah, I guess that's it. And happy Halloween.
Spooky Halloween.
Yeah. Until next time. Peace out.
Peace out.
Hey, if you have a haunted story you want to share, you can email us at lightsatmidnightpodcast@gmail.com. Get in touch with us there. We'd love to hear from you. We really appreciate y'all hanging around and checking it out. And yeah, thank you so much. We are super excited to bring you some super awesome content. We really appreciate you guys checking us out.
Thank you to all that took the time to listen to this week's episode. Your support means the world to us. And remember, all of us have the ability to shine brightly and shed positivity even in the darkest of places. Stay safe, stay well, and light it up!